Yo, what's good? It's your boy Stephen Conan here with Jonathan Sanchez again with another episode of the No Budget Podcast. We have another special guest for you guys. This is the homie, been cool for a few years now, another member of the UNC community. That's his whole own thing that, we could probably get into at some point, but he's a part of the streetwear culture, sneakers. He's a probably somebody that you might have worked with if you're listening in, if you're aware of who he is. It's the homie Trail. Thank you again, man. How you want to introduce yourself? I know you go by a different name on Twitter and everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So I've kind of grown into this moniker that is Heisenbit.
yeah,
It's become a thing of its own where, in the group in Hypernova, which is a group that I'm a mod in, I guess we'll talk
right,
about that at some point. It's
for
kind
sure.
of like its own thing, its own entity. And I feel like for a longest time, I was so quiet in there that people started to believe I was a ghost almost. Or like I was
Nah.
some fake person that only popped up to put 10 pair of shoes in the success channel. Um,
Yeah,
All
nah, I
right,
feel
all
but yeah,
you.
right.
no, we go way farther
So,
back than UNC
Nah,
though.
for
I heard
sure.
you
Oh,
mention
nah,
that.
oh, yeah, bro. Look, shout out to Eastern North Carolina, man. Shout out to
Yeah,
the
two
252.
five.
Look, man, I'm trying to
Yeah.
get that to you, bro. I was trying to lay that up to you. Yeah, look, man, I appreciate you, man. But nah, for real, bro. Like,
so,
this is the
so there,
homie, man.
so we have to give a lot of context for our listeners though about Heisenbit. So and Hypernova and all of that. So walk people through on what that name means. Not necessarily what it means, but where that name exists and what it is you do in the sneakers and streetwear space.
Yeah, so I kind of came across that name in 17, I think it was. Kind of when I was in Bitcoin and crypto pretty like heavy, and I was trying to come up with, I don't know, just a different name to change it to on Twitter. At the time I was like a huge Breaking Bad fan. And that was kind of just what I came up with, and I've kind of wrote it out ever since. At one point I think a lot of people on Twitter who I guess weren't familiar with me prior to the name change even thought my name was Walter Black.
Oh,
And when I had changed my
yeah.
name, and people started calling me Walter. I just recently changed my name back to Trail on Twitter because I kind of got tired of people
I
like
did
calling me
notice
that.
that.
Like, that's not my
Yeah.
name. So,
Nah, I
um,
feel that, bro.
but yeah, that didn't really have anything to do with shoes. So then it just kind of transitioned into that space. A few months back, I had two friends or guys that I met on Twitter started a group called Hypernova. And a few months in, they added me to the group as a mod. So basically, what we do is we assist in any way that we can with the members in the group. The group in itself is kind of a community to help people find alternate streams of income, whether that be sneakers, whether that be real estate, whether that be, we have auto flips, whether that
Hmm.
be trading, whether it be just random stuff, low key cooks,
Mm.
arbitrage, um, anything you can think of almost. And I think most recent, something that everybody is probably familiar with by now is the PS5s and the Xboxes.
Yeah. For
Yeah, so
sure, for
that was
sure.
that was a
Nah.
blast. That was fun. Um,
Nah, for real, bro. You honestly opened up a whole other can of worms, man. Cause I feel like a lot of people are under the impression that like you're just the guy that does the slots for the sneakers and does the slots for like Keith or whatever it might be, kind of thing. So I mean that's crazy. Like that's definitely something that I think people should get in touch with you about if they want to. With that being said, how the first thing I want to ask, and I'm gonna come back to another question after this, is like how would you, if you were interested in being a part, make yourself available to somebody that wanted your services or wanted the group services, kind of thing.
well, the group in its own is pretty like limited.
Hmm.
They've made it this way to keep the community more tight knit. in a way.
Facts. Okay.
So we'll have the two owners, I guess more so than anybody else, drop random keys on the timeline. I have to give you their Twitter names. I have to look them up. Scrap and Reese are the two owners, though.
Okay.
Tonight, for example, they dropped them during the versus battle. So it's just random stuff like that. I mean, people may
Yeah.
catch it. If you catch it, then you're in. If not, then maybe you could try again next time. So for sure, I guess the best ways to get involved are follow them on Twitter. So Hypernova Group is the
Yeah.
Twitter. And then Washed Reese,
Yeah, facts.
Reese is one of the owners. And then Scrap has changed his name so many times that
It's
this
all
guy
good.
gets
We'll
banned.
include the links. We'll include
He
the
gets
links
banned
in
from
the
Twitter
description.
like every
Facts.
other month.
Yeah, no, that's cool, bro. Yeah, bro. We'll make sure to get the accurate like at names
Outside
and
of
all of
that,
that.
like
Yeah.
reaching out to me, I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
I
ask
don't
you.
mind like ever helping anybody. I mean, even in a group, I just, my biggest thing with people is, at least do some research on your own. Like, don't,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, especially, and that's why I said like I'm open to any questions, because a lot of the stuff that we do can be found if you just Google it. I mean, you might have, further questions or deeper questions to ask, kind of to expand on what you read. But,
That's facts, bro.
I feel like I get a lot of people coming to me like on ground zero. And at that point, you didn't even try to put in the work.
And look, bro, like, look, you're laying me these questions up, bro, because like this was literally my next question. I appreciate you so much because I feel like it's just a level of, this is just a matter of, how much of our rapport, how far back that goes, man. Like we just have conversations like this all the time. If I like, think back on it, man. So like, with that being said, bro, my next question, like you talking about doing your research and all of that, man, like with reseller culture, man, like, correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I think like the number one pinnacle of it is reputation, and how you come across to, if you're reselling, like your customers, and for example on Twitter having a pinned tweet where somebody commenting under it, your customers telling you how their experience was, kind of thing, or on Instagram you have your little reputation post, or on Grail you have your 5 stars or whatever it is, man. So like, if if you're a person trying to either resell or be a customer with a reseller, man, like how do you go about proper like etiquette in that?
I don't think you treat it any differently than you would any business. I mean, you have to go into it with that mindset that you're running a business. So,
Facts.
I mean, anything you would do normally, like when I sell on eBay, I'm doing 2-day shipping, and typically I'm having it out the door same day. Even if I can get there after work, which is when the post office is closed, and I'll drop it off so that they can do all the stuff in the morning, and it could be out faster than it would if I waited next day. So it's just little things like that. With me, reputation is like 100% my thing, because, I run slots like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is people giving me their actual card information. For PlayStations, for, I guess, reference, I had 60 slots. So we're talking 60 people's whose card information, address, name, all of that I have. So you have to establish a level of trust with people that know that, I feel comfortable giving him this information, knowing that he won't do anything wrong with it. And it took some time for me to get to that level. Some people don't care, of course, but yeah, some people that are skeptical. But the one thing I am proud that I can say is not one single person can ever say, and I've been doing this for years, can never say that I did anything with any of that information.
No,
Man, I got to be honest. The first time I did a slot, I was so nervous. I wanted to like have the dude like prick his finger, like, man, listen, we got to do it like mafia style. I don't know, man. I can't just be handing over my entire access to you like that. But
yeah, it's crazy because even me being on this side and doing it, I'm still skeptical about who I'll give my information to run slots for me. I mean, I do it sometimes, to the people that are closest to me. But I mean, I'm not just going to go fill a slot form out because you posted it on Twitter. So I get it from both sides.
No, yeah. And with that being said, to both sides, I feel like that's, a perfect kind of rundown for anybody that's trying to go out and, have some kind of side hustle with, flipping or reselling things, or, wanting to do that research. So as far as like, what about the customer approaching a reseller? Like, I know you mentioned like doing research and things like that, but like, what would you consider proper etiquette? Like for example, I put it this way, like, what are some things that customers or potential buyers will do that just like irk you, and what's something that like customers will do and it's like, man, like, thank you, like, for making my life easy, like, kind
Oh
of thing, you know
man,
what I
so
mean?
I could talk about again. I think I've had so many like of those wrong instances happen just in the last week with the PlayStations. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
my biggest pet peeve with slots at least is like messaging me every day, asking
Hmm.
me like, did I get one? Did I get one?
Yeah.
I have people who run slots for me, like literally every release. Like I ran the NMDs, the Pharrell NMDs, the black joints that
Oh
dropped
yeah, yeah,
today.
yeah.
I have
Hmm.
people that run slots with me for everything, and they never message me unless I message them, telling them that they hit. Which is, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always going to contact you because I'm charging you a fee. So,
Exactly.
I'm not just going to not take my money. But I
Right.
get
Yeah.
people
Right,
who
right.
will message me every single day, like when the PlayStation news is coming out that they're restocking on Walmart, or the
Hmm.
Black Friday restock. I have people like, "Did you see this? Did you?" I mean, like, of course I saw it. um,
Yeah. No. Like,
but
what do you
I mean, it's
mean? Like,
just
I see
that I think
everything.
from the, I guess, a standpoint of an actual buyer, I don't really deal with too much communication and back and forth with buyers. Um, I guess just to stay in the same vein, more recently, it's become almost like the space is filled with a little bit of negativity now because the resellers are moving outside of shoes. Um, so, I get people for the systems. I guess, like I said, I mean, this last week has been insane since
Yeah.
all of this has happened. But you'll get people who they just knew they wanted a system, so they would message me, "You got an Xbox or you got a PlayStation? All right, cool. What's your price? That's cool. When can you meet? I can meet right now. Let's meet up. Blah blah blah. Do this, swap it out," and it was an easy transaction. And then you got those
Yeah.
people who think you're the scum of the earth because you're charging $1,000 for a
Uh.
PlayStation,
So,
and
Yeah.
they feel
how
like,
much are people paying for PlayStations right now?
ah man, I sold two Saturday for $1,000.
What?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm not
yeah. I sold an
surprised, man.
Xbox X on release day for
Oh
750
man.
and 795, I think.
Hey man.
Um,
I just
so
gotta
people are
say real
paying.
quick.
What's up?
I just gotta say real quick, man. You gonna know I'm talking. Hey, man, Carlos, bro. I'm sorry, bro. We was wrong, bro. These joints are flipping crazy,
Oh yeah, no,
bro.
no, 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 no. Well, the
We was
crazy thing
wrong,
about
bro.
it,
If you
crazy thing
listening.
about it
I
is,
definitely was on Twitter like, no way these are flipping.
well, and I think a lot of people were like that. I tried to make sure that the people closest to me, well, I could tell you Elton, for example.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because I deal with
Shout
etiquette
outs.
with my friends,
Hmm.
even in their regards. Like my biggest pet peeve for my friends is, if you know you're gonna want something, do not wait until the day of or after the release to message me. Elton was the only person who hit me up like 2 months ago and was like,
Big
"I
shout
need a
outs.
PlayStation."
Big shout outs.
And he got two of them because he did that. He got a
Yeah.
digital one and a disc one.
Shout outs.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
so
know
I think
what to do for Black Air Force season.
Hey yo, Elton, if
yeah.
you listening to this,
So
bro.
yeah, that's my thing, is just like, I tried to make sure that people didn't think like that when I saw, the I guess
Facts.
the grand scheme of things, everybody thought
Uh-huh.
that. I just don't know how. My thing is, we're in a pandemic. I get it. It's coming to an end, or so it looks like we are, but we're really not.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you
No, we're definitely
when you
not. It's
think
getting
about it
colder.
from that business standpoint, companies
Yeah.
are still dealing with issues in their supply chain. That doesn't change because you're Microsoft or your Sony or your Walmart or your Best Buy. Your shipping is still going to be delayed. So now you have a situation where everybody wants a PlayStation because the PlayStation 4 came out when we were in high school.
Nah, we were sophomores.
Oh,
It was
so we were in college
2013,
when it came out.
2014. Yeah, it was like
Okay.
2014, I believe.
But still, we talking 7 years ago,
Yeah.
6 years ago. So
Yeah,
everybody
facts.
wants one. Not only does everybody want one, but now you got to keep up with the demand and you got to keep up with the issues in your supply chain. It was like the perfect storm because not
Hmm.
only did all of that happen, but now it's Christmas time. So now you want it before Christmas.
Man,
So
what do you
I
think that
think,
multiplier is gonna be? That Christmas multiplier on the resale, man.
well, you
What's that
see,
gonna be?
are you talking about everything or just the systems?
Look,
Both.
yeah. I mean, I
Think
was thinking the systems, but yeah, go
everything
for
goes
it.
up. So normally the two greatest times for us are back to school, which, COVID this year, so nobody was getting fresh to go on
Facts,
Zoom.
facts.
And then Christmas time. And I think that was the one thing that made the system so like fire is that it happened during Christmas time. So now you have, you know, one more release left, Black Friday, where it's going to go no different. I'm telling you guys that, to be the first one to hear it from my mouth. Black
Yeah,
Friday's
no,
release is not going to go any different than any of the other ones. And people think it is.
man,
It's
no,
not.
that's funny.
So
And like the
nobody's
thing
going to get
is,
a PlayStation. At
uh-huh.
that point, the prices are going to skyrocket. And $1,000 will look like chump change to anybody who wants it before Christmas because that's the only way you're going to get it is to buy it from a reseller. It's
Yeah,
Oh
unfortunate.
man, you gotta
oh,
cop that PS5 like it's a box
yeah,
logo
you gotta get
in
that right
2020.
now.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
see
You gotta
nah,
get
not
accurate.
even like two
selling,
box logos.
yeah, if you see it selling like in that 750, I've seen a few. I won't do it, but I've seen a few people selling in that range. If you see any selling in that range, go ahead and buy it. Like, don't wait it
Oh
out because
yeah.
you're not getting one for Black Friday.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. And I just think back to the actual showcase that Sony did and then like surprise drop. And me, man, I'm forgetful, bro. Like you're always like right there, and then for some reason, like I just don't ever think to like reach out, like for some reason, like and it's always like right there. So by like some miracle, like I just have the notifications on for a few accounts that we mentioned on the show before, Soul Links and Sneaker Twitter, and they surprise dropped them like right after that showcase, and I
Oh
got lucky
yeah,
with the
yeah, the
pre-order.
pre-order.
Yeah, I hit on Amazon, and it was like it was a 2 second checkout. It was so, and that was just because nobody was really ready at that time. But
Well,
once
see,
everybody was
even
prepared, like
even then, like when the pre-orders dropped, a lot of the resellers weren't even really on it like that. Like I know one
wow,
guy that copped 100 of them. And he was the only person that believed in it that much. Like even me, I was skeptical. I think I might have gotten 3 on the pre-orders.
okay,
But I mean, I didn't make that same mistake,
yeah,
when they dropped them on
oh
the
yeah.
12th.
Absolutely not. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like it's just one of those things where, the speculation and then what actually happens, like they can either be on point or it can look totally different. And I was definitely in that school in during the pre-orders, like of these aren't gonna flip. Like, Tony's prepared for this. I would hope. They've seen what the switches were doing over the summer. Like they would think to, make sure that there's enough stock. But here we are.
Yeah, I think even on
Um,
release day, I was seeing people was talking about like, why are people spending $1,000? I'm like, you clearly weren't just trying to get one because literally, I mean, nobody that was trying that was Walmart was taken over completely by bots. I mean,
yeah.
most of the people I know that bought from Walmart bought from a bot. I hit, I think, 16 or 17 just on my bot alone.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
Man,
but yeah.
So
So I
like
mean.
with that, man, like I know we'll probably end up, because PlayStation's been on everybody's mind, so we'll probably end up getting back on the point of PlayStations. But like just talking about like just bots, like because we just been kind of throwing the word around a lot, like kind of just like because we know what's going on. We've kind of been players in the space of streetwear and like when these things drop and trying to resell or trying to flip something at some point or one thing or the other. So like my question now is like, so before we got on, like you said like a few years ago, like this probably would not be information that you want to like kind of disclose. So like, what did it look like at that point? Like, how was it? Like, what was the play to be in a position where like you can eat like this now? So it's kind of like this information is obsolete, but it's always good to just know, like, because sometimes stuff repeats. But yeah, if you don't mind, like, just how did that look like those few years ago, like where you were just like ramping up to the point where it's at this time?
Yeah, so I think back then it was more of like I don't even know to say a more tight knit community. I just think it was a space that was relatively new. So
Yeah.
you had bots then too. Some of them are still around, some have
Hmm.
gone, and better ones have come. But we were, I think, I want to say it was freshman or sophomore year is around the time I really got into bots heavy.
For reference for y'all, this is 2012,
2020,
2013.
yeah, 2012, 2013 is around the time where I really got in heavy, and that was like right around the time the first Yeezy dropped, and then
Yeah, I
kind
remember
of
that.
hit the ground running from there. Back then it
Hmm.
was lovely because 2 or 3 pairs of Yeezys was a $3,000-4,000 payday. I
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
mean,
sure.
you're talking Nike Yeezys.
I'm talking about
No, he's
350s.
talking about the early, like the first 350s, like
Yeah, 350s, the
the
Turtle
turtle
Doves, the
doves,
Moon
yeah, the turtle
Rocks,
doves, the pirate
the Pirate
blacks.
Blacks. Yeah,
Yeah, I
those
still,
those were those were paydays. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
and
aging myself because
oh yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
yeah, because like when I was in college, like
yeah,
watch the Throne era. So I'm like, oh damn, like oh
yeah.
like y'all
Now
was on bot then.
when the Nike Yeezys dropped, I don't know that bots were the thing. It was more TweetDeck and Twitter. Because at the time, I
Yeah.
think around that time, Nike had some little thing they were doing where they would tweet an image and it would have a keyword or something in it.
Oh wow.
They've gone through all of these different types of bot protection,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah.
a
So
whole
so
other
so back
episode.
then, even from my standpoint, now, we use servers, so it's like a
Hmm.
computer, but located it in another location that's with faster internet. So you'll get speeds of about 2 to 3,000 megabits per second,
Wow.
and then it's closer to the foot site or Foot Locker, Foot Action, those where the data centers are that they run their servers out of. Back then, I didn't know about it. So, I mean, freshman, sophomore year, I was home for the summer. I'm driving up to Carolina to take use of that 1,000 megabits per second to run it on my like laptop.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
it was proxies, so I mean they've always been around. Proxy is essentially like an IP address, well, we use multiple, so anywhere from 100 to 200. Some people use thousands
Hmm.
to make it seem like every hit to a website is a different person. It's just to
Okay.
keep you from getting banned and to keep the like
Yeah.
one per customer limit to kind of dodge that.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so
No,
all of
that's
those
yeah.
things back then were more of a learning curve. So it kept people out of it. I think
Right.
around the last maybe 2 years, it started becoming public knowledge, and more people were starting to get into cook groups similar to
Hmm.
Hypernova, who started to then teach how to do all of these things. So now everybody's a reseller. You have everybody doing all these things, and you still have people who outperform day in and day
Yeah.
out. I mean, people who cop 500-600 pairs on every release with ease.
Wow.
And then you clearly, have a wider market of the little people is what I would
Yeah.
call it.
Okay. No, that makes sense because just from the way that I'm looking at it, pretty like low level, just having that interest, participating primarily manually kind of thing, and you know having times where I've reached out to you and asked you to do a slot for me or something like that, and having good experience with that kind of thing. I'm looking at it from like a few years ago, the bot being kind of like the only thing there was. And then a few years after that, so maybe 2014, 2015 onward, people start talking about proxies and servers and things like that. And it kind of evolves into what it is now. And the main thing for me, man, is just seeing how the prices of bots and things like that have changed. Like,
They're
you know
ridiculous
what
now.
what's a test? What do you test it at? Is that kind of just like the same hype that sneakers ride that causes that, or is it just like the
Yeah.
technology is that much more
So
advanced? Like,
what
what
they
is?
started doing, I mean, and it's kind of the business model of almost everything now, is they
Yeah.
started to operate in that scarcity model where,
Hmm. Okay.
we'll put out 50 keys for you to buy the bot. Nobody will get it. And now everybody wants it because it outperforms on this release. So,
Yeah.
some of those you have now are Cyber, is one that's been around for a little while. They're a
Mhm.
top bot
I'm
selling for
familiar. Yeah.
thousands. You have Kodai, which is also a top bot selling for thousands. Rush is probably the most recent one. Russia's different because it runs on CLI, which is kind of
Which
cool.
is
They're pretty good. Command lines, sorry, for
okay,
those who
got you.
don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah. Got you.
So they don't have like a UI or anything. But yeah, so you just have it to a point where like sometimes some of these bots, I honestly would probably say most times these bots are harder to get your hands on for retail than sneakers are.
Oh
So
yeah,
I mean, it got
absolutely.
to the point where you have people botting the bot sites.
Yeah,
So
because there's
people
not
are
really any
reselling the
regulation.
bots.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, man,
absolutely. There's
there's
a whole
That is
crazy
community.
money,
crazy.
and I got a homie. She
You
rents.
can
She
rent
she
bots.
literally just
Yeah,
rents her bots.
you can rent
She
bots
doesn't even
out and
run them.
things like that. Like that's the thing,
She
man.
treats her bots like real estate.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then I guess my question from that is, so I mean, with that level of that entry level at this point, and then if you weren't aware of it back then, you kind of just lost out to those maybe $300 bots, $200 bots that there might have been like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, kind of thing. If you're an average Joe that doesn't really have that savvy, what does it look like for you? Like, because even renting bots is expensive, kind of thing. Like, what does it look like for you if you're like, man, like I genuinely want to hit on sneakers and have a guarantee, like I want that, like what does that look like for them?
Well, sneakers is a devil in its
Or like
own, and
just
I
anything?
know you all talked about that on the
Yeah.
last one. And sneakers is, I mean, they are one of the sites that has done a very good job at stopping bots. I mean, it's
Okay.
what most regular people don't know, and I say regular is people who don't run bots.
Yeah.
Sneakers is a draw. Like I know they tell you it's first come first serve on the app, but they make it seem that way. But even
Yeah.
the regular sneakers release is a draw. It's a
Hmm.
3-minute draw. So if you ever paid attention to the confirmation, you've never gotten a confirmation before 3 minutes is up. That's
Yeah.
because when you're waiting that time that it has you in queue or pending, that's their draw system. So instead of it being 10 minutes,
Mm.
it's 3 minutes. Um
What
outside
about
of
just like
that,
in general, like
it,
because kids drop stuff, and then Cactus Plant
yeah.
Flea Market, they dropped the dunks and all that stuff yesterday, like, so
Yeah,
that was
outside of that, I
there.
think my advice to anybody is to rent it. I mean, I think, you know, you don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on a bot and have no idea how to run it. So in order for you to learn at this point, you kind of have to go out and rent it. I mean, you can buy one of the less expensive bots. I mean, there are a
Hmm.
couple, A&B and NSB are two of the kind of beginner bots is what I would say. They're always available. They don't do the scarcity model.
Yeah.
So if you want to go out and really just learn the base level of proxies and servers and all of that, I mean, anybody's more than welcome to start with one of those. But I think if you really want to jump in kind of head first, go run a bot. I mean, there are a few different. Anybody can hit
Hmm.
me up, but there's a few different. I know Botmart is a pretty good place to
I think
start.
I'm in
Or
that group. Yeah,
yeah,
Lot
so I mean,
Mart.
there are a couple different groups where you can go in and rent a bot. Please use a market maker, or whatever they're called. Use a
Yeah.
middleman,
Okay.
basically, to make sure you don't get scammed if you do it. But uh, this
Right.
game is kind of a jump in and learn as you go thing. Like even
Yeah,
me,
that's crazy.
you mentioned proxies that I use, and I'm still learning as we go along because when we started, proxies were so easy. I mean, we were making proxies on Google Cloud. Now, every IP that we had back then is blocked. So
Yeah,
you have
no, yeah, they get so quick on like just figuring out, oh, this is a bot. This bots are using this IP. Like, damn.
yeah. So I mean, it's not an easy task. It's still something that even me being this many years in is learning every day. Um, but yeah, just go out and rent a bot. I mean, try it out. You don't know
Hmm.
until you try.
Yeah, it
Reach out to
sounds like
somebody who's doing it.
yeah, it sounds like you kind of got to get burned a little bit, man. Because
Oh
like, I
yeah,
mean, I just like I've seen like so many horror stories, and I mean, we'll get into that kind of stuff in a little bit, but in general, just scrolling through the TL, like it just like stuff that I read through, and it's like, oh my good, like somebody sold the PS5, and the buyer reported that they didn't send the PS5, it was something else, and so like
yeah.
it was crazy, man. So like, that's one of those things where it's like, man, like you kind of got to get burned
It's a
a
rite of
little bit. You got to be
passage.
ready. You got to be ready to, fall on your face with this. It's just like, it's not how it was where you might be able to, if you got a little bit of money put up, like to, put that into it and kind of have success as you're learning kind of thing. Because now it's so much more competitive and there's so much more out there as far as,
Absolutely.
people looking to, like you said, scam or,
Mm-hmm.
however it might be. So yeah, man, that this first 30 minutes, like this was something that I feel like if you really want to, get into, learning about bots and how to, find that success and, who to reach out to or where to look, or there are a lot of names dropped here. There are a lot of different bots dropped here. So, this is definitely something like that we appreciate, man. Like that was the whole point of this, man. We're trying to open the floor up for, people that, working, don't really check the TL like that, but they see Travis Scott's, they see dunks, they see stuff, and they like, man, like I feel like if I put some time into it, I could get to that. So yeah, man, we appreciate it, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have a
Yeah,
question
man.
for you.
Go ahead.
What should, say somebody is looking to get into, getting a bot or whatever. For me, I'm really be interested in sneakers and streetwear. You know what I mean? Hitting on sneakers, Supreme, Palace, whatever. What what for people who are looking to make money, you know what I mean? Like a week over week, what is the most profitable thing that people should target? You know what I mean with the bot?
I would probably say Shopify. I mean, I'll be honest, it's the biggest headache out of any site you could target, I think,
Mhm.
because the Shopify tech team, actually the CTO of Shopify, has kind of become ingrained into the sneaker community, where it's become like a game of cat and mouse. Like I compare it to Tom and Jerry a lot. It's where like, we
Yeah,
we I don't want to say hate him, but he makes that whole botting like world complicated. I mean, but it's his job.
yeah,
Are
But in
these
the same in the
when you're
same
saying
vein,
Shopify? Are that is that like what specific like products are there, or is it just
well,
like
so
anything
shop
on
so
Shopify?
Shopify, I'm not sure whether you all are familiar with a lot of it, but Shopify is the backbone to a lot of the stores in the streetwear community.
yeah. So like a
So
good example is like Eric
Ama, so
Emanuel.
yeah, Ama, Erica Manuel, Kif, Social Status,
Hmm.
DTLR, Travis Scott. I mean, there's so many stores on Shopify. I mean, Shopify has really taken over, as far as that goes, that space. I mean, if the chances that are high that if you've checked out anything streetwear related in the last probably month or so, there's a 99% chance you checked out something on Shopify.
Yep.
Okay,
So
okay.
the
So
bots that
going for
run
streetwear
Shopify,
on Spotify, going for streetwear on Shopify is the go to move.
yeah, well, I mean that's going to be your biggest profit because you have those things like Eric Emanuel that people are willing to
Mm.
pay for. You have like
Is Bape
random
on
releases on
Shopify?
Eric Emanuel. Oh, Bape,
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 yeah.
Bape is Shopify.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yep,
Yeah, because like there's a lot
yeah.
of stuff.
So
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
as
we
far
need
as
to
as
talk
far
to
as
the Fresh Prince release this weekend, then offline.
For sure. As far as items go, though, I say Shopify because like I said, Nike it's basically dead as far as botting goes. I mean, you might get
Okay.
lucky, but the chances of you getting lucky, you're gonna have to put a lot of money into it because you got to buy accounts, you got to buy proxies, and then you still might take an L. Foot sites are profitable, but foot sites are more of a weight game. So like foot sites are really only profitable for the people who are running slots or buying 100 or so pair every release.
Yeah.
So I say Shopify just because of the volume of releases that they have because they are the backbone of so many stores. It's just you cover the most ground focusing on Shopify.
Yeah.
Where no, we appreciate that. I was just trying to give some specifics for for people who may not be as hip.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of
Yeah,
those
it's
things where it's
helpful.
like it's hard, like, and that's one of those things where it's so important to, like, find somebody that is willing to, work with you. But it also goes back to that, trying to do research on your own too, and try to bring something to the table when you have these connections. Because I mean, you could spend a lot of time and end up finding out which of these sites exactly are Shopify and things like that. But you could save so much time by making those relationships, and doing a little bit of research and having an understanding and being willing to you know learn and trust the process on certain things, and be willing to get burned even to learn what it is you need to learn, and save that time
Hmm.
and research by just like being willing to just kind of jump straight into it, like Trey was saying. So yeah,
And
man.
subscribe to podcasts like this, and get more game.
Facts. Nah, for sure, for sure. It's definitely a community, and it's like you gotta carry your weight in order to and not to sound like gatekeeping or anything, because it's not like that at all. But it's just like going to a foreign country. You wouldn't exactly want to go over there, not knowing the language at all, and expecting to navigate everything sweet clean. Like, at least have a book, or at least have an app or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just try, like, just show
Right.
that you're caring
Know
about it, and
something.
not just
Make an
trying to get
effort.
out of everybody. Yeah, like, because there's a lot of people that just, like, greed is the motivator, and just trying to get as much as they can out of people. So you know there's also that community, and I feel like lucky that I've worked with people that are on that side of it, that are genuinely, just trying to help as many people be successful as possible, or
yeah.
get.
I think that's kind of what we aim to do,
Yeah,
in
sure.
Hypernova, at least. And it's with me is, I'm much more receptive to you coming to me asking me a question about something you saw,
Yeah,
rather than you just DMing me or messaging me saying, "Help me, learn how to resell," or "How do you use a bot?"
exactly.
Like, come to me and ask me, "Look, I saw Project Destroyer. What do you think about this bot?" Or, I saw somebody mention that Cyber was good on this, and this. Like, how do you feel
Hmm.
about it? Questions like that are the ones that pique my interest, because at that point I know that you're out there, you're trying.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's something that, and at least in the streetwear, man, like, the patience level for just a bunch of, like, hey, can you do this, or trying to lowball or whatever it is, like, it's very thin. So the best thing you can do is just trying to just approach it like you would any kind of, like, approach it like you would, like, stock or real estate kind of thing, because
Well,
that's
you approach it
essentially
like
what it
you
is.
would
Yeah.
any human interaction. I mean, I think people get lost. People
Facts.
get lost in the internet of it all and forget
Yeah.
that, even though we're on Twitter, when you send somebody a DM, you should approach it like you would walk up to somebody in a bar or a library or a store. Like, you don't just
Yeah.
come in demanding somebody to help you do something right away. Like,
Yeah.
ask me how my day was. I'm just saying, don't do the small talk, but
Facts. No, that's
but
real. That's real. Nah, that's something that people keep in mind. Like, but just overall, just try and be just be personable, man. Like, like, everybody's time is valuable.
exactly.
It's, as long as I feel like, as long as you can just approach every situation as, like, man, how best can I utilize this person's time if I were to get it? If you approach every conversation or every, like, thing like
Bingo.
that, it's just like, like, you'll always have the utmost respect from whoever
Yeah.
you're interacting with. But there's always those people that are just, like, going to be how they're going to be anyway. So I mean, just be prepared for that, because when there's opportunity like this involved, if you can make it work for yourself, like, there's going to be those kinds of people. So you know scams, all of that. It's definitely stuff to be on the lookout for, man. But
Mhm.
so I guess, with that being said, like, I guess it's kind of like a twofer question. Like, I would think that you think that bots are pretty good for the game, or and with that, like, the misconception, like, what kind of misconceptions might there be about somebody that might think that you know bots are kind of messing stuff up, or, like, what are your thoughts about all that in general?
I hear it. I mean, I don't really think it makes much of a difference. Um, prior to everybody being aware that there were actual bots that people could buy, people were running scripts. I mean, when
Yeah.
when when Nike was dropping, that was the whole reason that they had started doing that image on Twitter with the keywords circled, is because people were running scripts to buy stuff on the
Mm,
Nike website. So I mean, there's never going to be an end to it. At some point, you have to adapt to it. And I think you can call them bad all you want to. I have a friend, for example, who didn't want to get a PlayStation through me because he said he wanted to do it the right way, which, I mean, that's okay, but now you don't have a PlayStation.
I mean,
So,
it's not funny, but it's just like,
yeah, so I mean,
yeah,
I get when people say,
future is now,
it's
old man.
ruining, huh?
I said the future is now, old man.
Yeah. I mean, I get, like I said, I get when people say it. I hear a lot of more older sneakerheads and like those type of people saying it because they can't just log on and type the information in and check out the shoe that they want now. But
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that it would be any different because everything's more limited now. Nike, for example, they dropped those Kobe's, rest in peace, but they dropped that during Kobe week. They dropped 3 pair of Kobe's and they made them the most limited sneaker that they had dropped almost all year long.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just you have companies doing stuff like that. I don't know that not having bots will make that much of a difference, to be honest. Like, you're still not going to get them.
That's a fair point. No, for sure. Because a lot of people, I don't think, are looking at it that way. And I definitely didn't know that those 3 Kobe's were the lowest stock that Nike had at the time.
Yeah, man, that stock was ridiculous. Like Foot Locker, for example, dropped like 200 pair. Like nobody's touching them. And then you get people who they make comments like bots took all the stuff. I've seen people say stuff like that on the releases where bots haven't even touched.
Yeah.
Or like bots really had like issues.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, so I mean, with that being the case, like what's the game plan for like your Nikes or like your bigger companies like your Supremes or your like, do you see them trying to stop this, or is there anything they could do? Like, because
that's crazy that you asked me that because I made a comment today in regards to that exact point where Walmart released PlayStations and Xboxes today, and I don't know whether the outside person knows it or not, but bots failed horribly, and they literally did the release today in preparation to try and stop bots on Black Friday. My comment was that Walmart showed us that Foot Locker and Supreme and Nike, they don't really care because Walmart was able to do that. And this is really the only time that they've had to deal with bots on this level is PlayStation Xboxes. They did that in 2 weeks. Okay. They were able to stop bots in 2 weeks' time.
Stop in what regard? Like to what
completely.
Degree? Wow. So no bots hit. Like
I mean, I saw maybe 4 checkouts from a bot today.
Wow.
So, I mean, most of the PlayStation Xboxes that were checked out today were human checkouts.
So you got people that took L's on Walmart today blaming bots.
And it had nothing to do with bots. Yeah, it had nothing to do with bots. So I think from, in that regards, I don't think Supreme and those websites are putting all of their focus into stopping bots because it's what makes them profitable.
That's real.
Some shoes would never sell out on Foot Locker if it weren't for people that were buying them with bots and reselling them. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of shoes that I have that I'll sell for a loss. I mean, I still got the University Gold 12s. I'm not going to make anything on those.
Dude, I bought the Biohacks, man, and I can guarantee that's a perfect example of a shoe that I feel like sold out because of bots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you have a ton of shoes like that. And they're not like the black Pharrell NMDs today. I don't know to say that the yellow ones were sitting on a site today because a friend of mine messaged me asking me if I could get the yellow ones, and I literally just sent them a link to Hibbits.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't necessarily know that any of those shoes would sell out if it weren't for bots. And for that reason, I don't know to say that they ever really will try to stop bots 100%. They throw anti-bots on their site and they say that they're trying to stop it. But, I mean, you know how that is with press.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely just a PR move to, try and quell a little bit of that customer, like, frustration of bots and things. But I mean, we mentioned it before, but I'll give it to Union on those 4s. They did a pretty good job.
They did. I actually got both pair of those manual.
Wow.
Yeah, from we were sitting, we went to a resort that weekend, and I was I was a little hurt that we were out of the resort. I was away from my computer.
Yeah,
But then I saw how they did the release. I was kind of
Jeez.
hyped. So yeah, managed to get 2 pair on the resort Wi-Fi.
Wow. That's impressive. See, for me, I don't know what it was, but I just feel like in that drop, like there was like a window of like 5 to 7 seconds that I feel like I recognize as the time where I was like the space between like the W I could have gotten and the L that I actually did get. And I don't know, like, cause when I hear you saying you got two, like with manual and things like that, is it really? It's just fast thumbs, right? Like
Well, I
it's just
mean,
being fast. Like,
yes and no. So there are still tricks that we
okay,
know. Shopify, again, there we go with that name. Union is a Shopify
right.
site. So,
Yeah,
I mean, there are
true.
certain tricks of the trade to Shopify to where, like, if you get an out of stock message, how to add another one to the cart and throw it through the queue
Yeah.
bypass.
Okay.
So that's what actually got me the second pair. Is I was on my girl's phone. She got an out of stock message. I snatched her phone real quick and threw another pair in the cart, did the queue bypass, and then I checked out the second pair.
Wow. Yeah.
So I
See,
mean,
those are the
yes,
little
it's
things.
quick typing, yes, it's autofill, yes, it's Apple Pay, those things, but it also helps to know the
Yeah.
ins and outs of Shopify.
It all comes back to the rite of passage, man. Like
Yeah,
you gotta be ready. You gotta
a
be
lot
ready
of
to spend a
L's.
little bread. You gotta be ready to take some L's. You gotta be ready to fall on your face just in general. But again, with all of that, and that's the thing that I feel like might check a lot of people out is because you have to be prepared for all of that, but you still have to be doing your research and being diligent and like, you know, in some cases, like not coming across like you don't know anything about whatever that particular drop is or like the particular approach for a buy or things like that. Like you still have to do that work on your own too. So like it comes down to a lot of just like willpower as far as just being diligent and putting that time in, especially now where the ceiling to you know get over and have that success is so much higher. So it's just like, yeah, like it's a lot of preparation and a lot of resilience that you got to have. I feel like to do this, man. You got to have some money put aside and be ready to invest it. Like it's an investment, a time investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Like
To this day, I think my biggest L was calls, man.
that's
It
gonna
was
be my question. That's my
literally
next question.
the only raffle that I have ever hit in my life.
Yeah.
I hit the calls raffle for the Great Calls Force,
Uh huh.
and
Gee, yeah, I remember those.
I sold them on Grailed,
Uh huh.
and the package got lost in the mail. Lost, air quotes on
Oh,
lost, because
good
I'm
lord.
99% sure it got stolen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I remember,
So not
bro.
only did I get the L of having to buy the shoes, I also got the
Oh
L of
yeah.
having to refund the guy back his money.
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. I had to do the same thing on a little bit less of a scale, man. But it's crazy because it's the homie, bro. It was Dre, bro. It was like 2017, bro. It was the Michael Jackson collab, Supreme hoodie. It was the burgundy joint, I believe. And I hit on that joint, and I was gonna sell it to Dre, and my package got quote unquote lost, and it was one
Sucks,
of
man.
those things, yeah, bro, where you come out and that was kind of what took because I had a little rotate because that was during the days of dang, what was that app called, man? Restocks. That was the days of Restocks app, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Restocks app, the with the autofill and the button to go straight to the website, and it'll
Yeah, those
like
were the simpler
the auto
times.
click. Yeah, the simpler times, bro, where you could really like have no money invested in it and just have a little bit of wherewithal and know where to look and find a solution to
Oh
be
yeah,
a
for sure,
player. Like you could be a player, like
for
a big
sure.
player in the situation. Because shout out to the Money Gun, shout out to
Yeah.
that Comme des Garçons collab. There's a couple things, man, where I was just like able to play a part and like be involved. But like that, I will say like that MJ collab, like that one took me out of the game, like kind of like single handedly, bro. Cause like that was a play that I was trying to build up, but it all fell through. So I mean, yeah, I would say that was my biggest L. But yeah, man, like that was a great segue, man. Cause literally I'm looking at the prompter or whatever, man, and I was gonna ask what your biggest L was, man. So yeah,
Yeah,
losing,
yeah,
yeah, that
that by
package getting
far.
lost,
Man, I
yeah,
was like,
bro.
I want to say I sold them for it was somewhere between 13 and 1500. It
Yeah,
was. It was
That's
ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Um I'm trying to think, man, like, cause man, I gotta be honest, like, I was broke flipping. So, like, I was doing this stuff like senior year, like, and then out of school, like, where hitting on stuff was pretty easy, but at the same time, man, I didn't really had a space to play the long game and like
Yeah.
wait for stuff to get to as good as it's gonna get as far as like that value on resale. So, I was doing that stuff, but yeah, man, like, what would you say like your biggest hit has been like as far as like doing stuff? That was your biggest L,
Oh,
but like,
Yeezys, man. I mean,
oh
that
yeah,
was
you
the glory
yeah, that
days.
was yeah for sure.
I
Oh
I
man,
I had a girlfriend in college. We're gonna continue to not say any names. Um, but she wanted a pair of the Moon Rocks.
yeah,
And she had me running. Of course, I was running for me too. The
yeah.
website, however, that I went for hers on, when I ran the bot, her card checked out 4 pairs of the Moon Rocks,
Jeez, what?
I think it was a size 4.5.
Yo,
So I mean,
and
that
what
was
and
a
size
hey,
wise, that was like, is that the money size? Is
oh,
that the money size?
money.
The money size,
That,
yeah.
when I tell you,
Gee,
I gave her retail so fast. I was like,
that's
look, here, I'm gonna just cash
crazy.
app you because Cash App was around then. I'm gonna just cash app you the money for those. Don't even worry about it.
Oh man,
That was
yo,
easily the biggest
oh
payday.
my goodness, yo, I can't
I think I
imagine.
sold them for like $1,200 a piece.
Dog, yeah, yo, that's definitely dubs, like the biggest dubs I can think of, like as far
Yeah,
as in
outside of that, I
recent
think
history.
the peach BOGO.
Oh yeah, the peach and the
Um,
sage joints,
yeah, I
yeah,
had a couple of those. I think
yeah, I
I ended
remember
up with
that.
like 4 or 5 of them, and then
Yeah,
they were so crazy at the time that I
hmm
wore one. I wore a peach
yeah, I
like
remember that.
3 or 4 times, and then sold it for
Yeah,
1,500.
yeah, I remember that. I remember. I
Yeah,
think I saw you in that
yeah, that was
one of
the
those three
wildest.
times.
That's the
That was a
wildest
good season,
sale.
bro. That was
Uh,
a great Supreme season. What was that,
I
like spring, summer 17 or like fall,
Yeah, it
winter
was
6,
bad.
something like that?
We had graduated. I was
Yeah,
staying in
we had
Charlotte at
graduated
the
already
time.
for sure. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
was
no,
like in my first
I
office
wore it
company.
like 3 times, and then I took it to
Yeah,
get dry clean, and then I was like, shoot, I'm not gonna wear. At the time I had the
jeez.
Yeezys, the 350s with
Uh-huh.
they had came out that Thanksgiving. They had that peach stripe on them.
Yeah, I
And I had
remember.
sold those. I was like, damn, I don't have nothing to wear with this
Those the
anymore. So let me
belugas.
list it just to see. And the nigga
Yeah.
bought it for 1,500 one.
That's crazy. Yo, like I don't know if Supreme is ever getting to those numbers again.
Supreme's not hitting those levels no more. It's
Yo, we
crazy.
talked about it in a previous episode, man. What's your take on that whole VF? Like, what do you think there's gonna be like a split, or do you think all of it's just gonna tank?
The deal?
Like with the deal, yeah, with VF Corporation. Like, do you think there's
You
gonna
know,
be a split of stuff before
well,
that and after?
I think they have to realize as a business, and I hope that they would, that there's still some things on Supreme, and the reason why they're as good of a business as they are is because of that same scarcity model that we keep talking
Hmm.
about. And that you can't take Supreme and turn them into a Vans and think
Yeah,
that they're
that's
gonna
so.
still be profitable because Supreme it's a hype wear brand.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
it's all based on hype. Nobody's buying. I mean, you have, of course, the loyal people who buy Supreme because it's Supreme and they just been a fan of Supreme for forever. But the majority of
yeah.
people are buying like collabs, like the North Face collabs and
Facts.
the Nike
That's where
collabs.
my attention is. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
I mean that's
those,
most
man.
people. Of course, you have people who focus just on BOGOs, box logos.
Yeah,
No,
that's.
it's like where I stand. I'm big on the picture tees, the photo tees that they
Oh
do,
yeah, photo
and
tees are
box
classic.
logos. I don't even
Yeah,
go on the Supreme website unless they
rapper
drop.
tees. I also love their rapper
Well,
tees.
that's what I'm saying. The
They do
photo
great rapper
tees.
tees. Yeah,
That's what I'm
but like
talking about.
the Wu Tang collab, and then
Gucci.
like yeah, the Gucci
I got
joint,
2
like
of
that, the
those.
photo too. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
bro.
that's the photo tee that I'm
That
talking
season.
about.
Oh
Like
yeah,
those are
bro.
like the Sade, those are the tees
Yeah.
that I focus on. Like that's what I'm saying. So you have people like that who, their vision is so narrow when it comes to Supreme, and
Hmm.
you can't take a Gucci photo tee and put it in a store that
Yeah,
never sells out. I mean, people probably gonna
like
buy it, but
zoomies or
you're taking
something.
away from the brand if you do
Oh
that.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like you're going after a different market at that point. You're
Yeah,
not going after the same people. Like the same people are not going to be interested anymore.
and
And those are the people that.
that's gonna turn some of those loyal people that you've had away.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. Like we tried to be optimistic on that first one, man. But this is dark, Steven, on this podcast, bro. Like I'm definitely looking at it pessimistic. Like, bro, like honestly, man, I'm gonna keep the stuff that I have. I like that stuff genuinely for what it is. But like honestly, bro, like we're gonna see what these designs look like. But I'm not
yeah,
anticipating
I
anything.
hold them to a higher standard as a company
Yeah, we're gonna
to
see.
realize that they have to keep Supreme as Supreme.
Yeah,
We'll hope that they do it. I mean, we won't really see the effects of that until probably one or
yeah.
two seasons from now. It won't
True.
happen anytime
Okay.
soon anyway.
That's good. That's good insight. Cause that's another thing I was thinking about, man. Like
Yeah,
when
it's
is this
not
stuff
something
gonna
they
start?
just
When are we
gonna
gonna start
pick up
seeing this
running
stuff?
with. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be 1 to 2 seasons out.
Yeah, that's real, man. Cause they do what they do so well, man. That model of a drop every week like that, and taking a break over the summer
It
and
works
getting
for
right back
them.
to it works so
That's what
well,
I'm saying.
man. And so many
You
other
can't
brands have
change that.
bit that. Like that shit like is like a perfect model in my opinion.
Yeah,
And that's what a lot of people, I feel like that's what a big thing for a lot of people before you even start talking about clothes and like the collabs and all of that stuff is just like that whole minimalist, like, hey man, we don't really care, but we dropping some stuff today. Here y'all go. If y'all get it, cool. If not, too
yeah.
bad. See
Try
y'all
again
next
next
week.
time.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
y'all next week. Like that's so dope to me. Like so if they can hopefully, find a way to save that and make it something that'll stay appealing, like that's a potentially a long shot, but
Yeah, I
man,
love it.
that'd
I
be
mean,
dope.
I think you've seen in the recent years, like you said, other brands take that same model and make it their own.
Exactly.
Eric Emanuel is more, one of the more
Oh
recent
yeah,
ones who's
for
done that with
sure.
the shorts.
Oh
Kif
man.
Kif has done it for the
Oh
last little
yeah.
over a year with their Monday program,
Oh yeah.
where they
Yeah.
drop every Monday.
Kith is pretty dope, man. Yeah, and I can say that, man. You're an early adopter of Kith,
Oh
like
man, I
one of the
love that
first
guy,
people.
man.
Like, yeah,
I'm a
man.
Ronnie Feig stan.
Would you
Like,
say that's who you collab with if you had the
oh,
opportunity?
without a doubt.
Oh
Without
yeah, I
that's not even
respect
a
it.
second thought in my
I
mind, man. That
respect
guy
that.
has taken that brand and has turned it into this global thing that it is now. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it just
I
on
gotta get
that
some
because
ice cream.
yeah, I was wearing Kith. I've been wearing Kith for years. I mean, when they
Oh
first
yeah,
started
for
doing the
sure.
Monday program, I was buying a Kith t-shirt every Monday.
Oh
And
yeah, for
he's
sure. A lot of
taken it
people
and
don't know
done.
that.
They dropped I mean, they dropped an actual BMW, like not a
Oh
toy.
wow. Oh, that's fire.
He did an
That's
actual
fire.
collab with BMW and dropped a real car.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because that got past me somehow. Was it so?
Yeah,
Was it
man,
what they
it's
do? Like, what did
crazy.
they do different? Was it just like was it decals or like what did
Yeah,
they
it
do
was
for it?
so
Like,
it was a custom interior, and then I think the emblem on the hood had the Kif it had a Kif on it.
yo,
But yeah,
no BS.
they only dropped a little bit, a few of them. I mean, it was
That's
expensive. I think they dropped
crazy.
100, and it was expensive. Don't get me
Oh
wrong, but
wow, it's
it's still
literally on
dope.
the website, yo.
Yeah,
It's literally
yeah,
on the
man.
website.
That
That's
that guy
crazy.
that guy is taking that brand, and I mean, some of the collabs he's done. The Coca-Cola collab, of course, is always
Oh
my
yeah, that's a
favorite.
classic. That's a classic
Um,
for sure.
the
What's one that's really caught my eye in recent years? The Power Rangers one was really cool
Power
too.
Rangers, yeah, the
Yeah.
Looney Tunes,
The champion one where they
yeah,
kind of reinterpreted the logo and
super
did a
dope.
whole new
More
thing.
recent, the
Yeah.
Calvin Klein. I think,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm real interested in seeing where he plans on taking it now because he's starting to collab with some of those bigger names in clothes, like
Oh
the
yeah, for
champion and
sure.
the Calvin Klein, the Tommy Hill figure.
Yeah, like
And I think it's crazy because in his own, he's kind of become like I would say the streetwear version of some of those brands to where like he's such a
oh yeah,
household name now.
for sure, for sure. Like when you look at like a Kith and a Supreme, those are probably like when you ask like anybody that like at least follows maybe an account or two on Twitter or like somebody that's into it, like those are probably the first two brands that they'll say, like because that's the stuff that the model and the way that stuff releases is the most appealing to people because people want to check in every week to see if they're going to get that W or see if they might come away with something. So I definitely think that Kith is one of those that might even should Supreme fall a certain way, they might stand as that pillar of like staying within that lane of, doing limited and, you know, not being as, you know, accessible as Supreme might become kind of thing. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, man, I definitely wanted to give that little piece because that's something that I know, man. Like you always got like a kid hoodie on or like the t-shirt or something like
I
that.
stay
So
with a Kith
yeah,
t-shirt. I
oh
got one on
yeah,
right
for
now.
sure, bro. Oh yeah, that's like me with like Supreme, like probably like 2017 through like 2018, 2019 kind of thing. Like I definitely still wear my Supreme stuff, man. But I've branched out to a few different brands, man. And what like if you don't mind, man. Like I mean, I know we just kind of like chopping, but like what's some stuff that like is on your radar, like as far as like some stuff other than like kit that like you rock
Yeah,
that like you think is
I
good.
can't even really say that I've been on too many new brands, to be honest. I mean, I pay
Nah, I feel
attention to
that.
them just because I kind of have to, being in a space.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
it's
I'm
kind of like
like
a
an old
business.
nigga now, though. It's like I if it ain't a Kith shirt that I already got, or if they
Nah, I
drop
feel
something
that.
that I'm really messing with, or Supreme drop a box logo or something,
Oh yeah,
I'm
you
like a
save money
plain
that way.
white tee. Yeah, I'm like a plain white
Yeah.
tee, plain black tee. Yeah,
Hey yo,
I buy my t-shirts from the wholesales now.
that's real. Nah, hey, we did a whole little section on like going to your consignments, going to your thrifts, man, because there's gems in there for sure, bro.
Yeah,
That
what
just
I caught I think it was like 15 white and black t-shirts for like $100.
yeah.
I'm like,
Nah.
man, beat
Look,
me up.
bro,
I ain't
that's
gotta
how you do it.
worry about my shirt matching my shoes.
Nah,
What
never.
colors is in the shirt versus the shoes. I could just throw a white tee on, throw some ones on, and go about my day.
Speaking of white tees, man, speaking of just like the era that we just kind of relived
Oh
earlier
man,
tonight
that was
and all that,
amazing.
man, like, that joint was crazy, bro. Like, man, what you think of Travis Scott dropping them t-shirts, bro?
Yo, Travis Scott has become he has become a Kardashian. It's
Dog, it's
wild to me.
crazy, bro. Like,
Y'all tweeted it. If Travis Scott ain't gonna do nothing else, he gonna get a bag any
that's
way possible.
crazy.
It's wild to me, but I mean, I rock with it. Get your bag.
Nah, that's real.
I don't know what he had to do with Gucci versus Jeezy,
I don't either. I
but
don't know what part. Yeah, he was definitely in there
dope shirt.
somewhere,
And
bro.
honestly, if
Yeah.
it's still up there tomorrow, I might buy one to go with my Travis Scotts. But
Nah, I respect it, bro. Like that's dope. Like I was looking at it and I was thinking, like, man, that's like looking at that shirt kind of gave me the same feeling I get when I look at like a chicken, egg, and cheese or something like that, man. It's like, man, those
it
two
don't have.
things, like I don't know,
Yeah,
like they supposed to go
that was
together.
incredibly random, which is why I tweeted
Like,
that, dog. It was the most random thing you will see today. Like Travis
yeah,
Scott has nothing to do with either of those artists or verses for that matter.
yeah, nah,
Yet
that's
he felt
real,
the
bro.
need to go drop a T-shirt for $48.
Nah, yeah, like
Get your
that's
money though.
look like 48, bro. Like that just makes me think back to just like how Supreme t-shirts got more expensive and like made it okay for all these other people to charge like that 48
Oh
for like
yeah,
a printed, like 'cause I remember, man, Supreme t-shirts like $32. Now they're like 40 something and it's
yeah,
tax. So yeah, man, it's crazy just being in this stuff and just seeing how it changes in real time, man. Like it's for sure one of those things that is super compelling and makes you want to see how that stuff continues to change. Like now, StockX like shows you the trend lines and all that stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, man, it's super fun, bro. But I mean, we asked Chuck last week, man, just like some general stuff, like like as far as like your sneakers. I know you mentioned the Travis Scotts right there, man, but like what's the sneaker that's like your favorite, you would say, like
Ah man, any pair of ones I have like
oh
10
yeah,
pair of
for sure.
them. So I mean, I'm willing to throw on whatever
Nah,
UNC
that's
ones
real.
I got, or I guess University Blue is what the technical name of them is. I got bread toes. I got the band ones, the royal ones, the shadow ones. I
Facts.
mean, the Travis Scott ones,
Yeah,
the
I think
pine
ones.
green.
Yeah, man,
I'm gonna just toss on a pair of ones, and
that's real.
if I can put them on, I'm good.
Yeah, them ones is like the universal kick, bro. Like throw those on with literally anything. Like all those primary colors, like they just pop so well, man. Like when you look at like your royals, you look at like the breads, like you look at like even like the shadows, they get the color palette so well. They cover the
Yeah,
color palette so well. It's like
I
where
think
where
just
you
about
going.
anyone. I think that's
Yeah,
always my thing with Yeah, at least the ones that I
Okay.
stay away from some of them, but
Nah,
my
that's
thing
real.
with the ones is just how they color block them. I mean,
Yeah,
you
nah,
can
for
find a
sure.
nice color on a pair of ones. It works with anything.
Yeah, nah, that's real, bro. Like the one, like shout out to, just Nike and, Jordan
Yeah, they could
for
have stopped there, to be honest, and just done every other color.
honestly, for real, like honest, like I don't know, like so you would put ones over like every other silhouette.
I think I don't even know to say that it would be a silhouette, but the only other shoe that I probably would put over ones are the cool grays. And I
That's
mean,
fair. Yeah.
I have threes and I have, other 11s. I got 13s that I do. I'm a fan of the 13. I feel like
I don't know
that's
what
a,
it is.
that's a
Yeah.
very like, unpopular take, but
No, I feel that. No, I respect it, bro. 15. I like 15s. I like the way 15s look. That's my unpopular
yeah.
Jordan that I
Yeah,
like
but
a
I
lot.
think I
Like
mean
I like
if
15.
I'm going silhouette by silhouette, I'm taking the ones over
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
Like just
for sure,
the
for sure.
classic feel of it. It's a Nike.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I wore Air
absolutely, bro.
Forces growing up, so I mean
Oh
it's an
yeah,
upgrade from that.
yeah. Basically, that's exactly what it is, bro. Like, and it's funny, man. I was just thinking, man. I feel like it's just something about that 11 silhouette that just like it triggers something primal in us, bro. Like you just see it, and it's just like, yo, that's so hard. That's so tough.
Yeah,
Like kind of like
yeah,
a
that
cool
cool
grade
gray. I mean
contour.
that's
Like
gonna be
yeah,
the holiday shoe next year.
nah, that's oh okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, holiday December 2021 is gonna be cool
Yeah,
grays. So I can't
every
wait for that.
Christmas. Every Christmas, it's on 11. That's the
Yeah, I
tradition,
don't really
man.
mess with the ones that they coming out with this year.
Oh yeah, the what's that? The University
I don't
Boot
know what they're
2.0s or
supposed to
something like
be.
that.
They're like DMPs, but with silver instead of.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
like
rocking with
Raiders
those.
colorway or something like that. Who knows? But nah, I feel that, man. Well, shoot, man, we appreciate you coming on, bro. Like, this hour flew by for sure, man. And I think Jonathan might have, or Sanch, he might have
Fell
gone
out.
down the compound, bro. Yeah, he might
Man,
have been down in the
man,
room, bro.
dude, I'm here,
I'm
but
still
Trail,
trying to
like
catch a
your
video
audio, or
snippet from
like
how
I can't,
Compound
my
looked in that
connection
joint.
went bad, so I
I
was just
need
like hitting
anybody from
Steven, like,
Atlanta to
yo,
hit me
just
and
keep
give
running,
me
because I'm
that
sitting here listening,
serum
like
so that I
catching,
don't have to worry about
you listen,
COVID.
it's
Because
all good,
those
bro. I
guys,
appreciate
you
appreciate you
you
coming
stay
through,
in
man.
Atlanta,
Dropping
Sands.
some gems.
Oh,
We're gonna have
nah,
to
hold on.
stay on
Sanch,
the line and still catch some stuff.
hold on, because both of y'all were talking right then. We might have to cut
Oh,
that.
Oh
Yeah.
my bad.
I can't hear him.
Oh yeah. See, Trail can't hear you, Sanch. It's all good. We can edit it. I mean, it's no big deal. But yeah, I guess when I said that, Sanch jumped in. But
Yeah,
yeah, nah.
I seen his mic go out, but I ain't seen.
Oh yeah, nah. It's
He
all
stay in
good.
Atlanta.
Oh nah, Sanch is in
Oh,
Dallas, man. I was just joking, bro.
oh no, I was just saying. I'm trying to find the cure. They clearly got the cure for
Oh
COVID.
nah, for sure, bro. And look, you saw that map, bro. They was like the only green state,
They
right?
lying. They
No, they're
lying.
definitely lying. No, somebody was like, "Yo, what are they doing down there?"
Yeah,
That's like,
they
no, they're
lying.
just lying. Like, no, that's crazy, bro. But
You ain't
yeah,
about to tell me that the cure is in the hookah, and I'm gonna be
no, it's in the cold, bro. It's in the cold. Like they
crazy.
dip it in cough syrup. Like it's the whole like antibiotic thing. I read up on it. But nah, bro, like we really appreciate it, dog. Like it was dope having this conversation, man. Like it's always good to, reconnect, had these catch ups, talk about sneakers and streetwear stuff that, we're always, looking at on our TLs and always just kind of looking into for our own interests, whether it be because you want to get something for your person for like personal, or if trying to get a quick dollar or something like that, man. Like we want to have as many people on to share their experiences and their angles, whether you're trying to start like your own business, or you're trying to start up your own like imprint, or with Niclo, or if you see the other side of that and you see an opportunity, if you had that resilience, you had that patience to do some research, brush up, and get into the software side of it, get with bots and with proxies and servers, and get in with the right people, get the right groups, things like that, to have those conversations and get those W's however you have to, man. So Trell, want to open it up to you one more time, man. Is there anything like you want to impart us with, or like any contact, like socials, things like that, if anybody wants to like follow you or check you out or ask questions?
Yeah. So y'all can follow me at Heisenbit on Twitter. So it's Heisenberg, like the show Breaking Bad, with bit instead of berg.
Facts.
Pretty
Yeah.
easy. I'll also recommend that you follow Hypernova Group on Twitter. If you're interested in any way, shape, or form into getting into that, I would say turn your notifications on and pray for a key. Outside of that, anybody that's interested in the space, I'm always open for a conversation. Just come like a regular human being.
Exactly.
Behind that, Abby on Twitter, I am still human. I do have a 3-year-old daughter, and I do work a 9 to 5.
Facts.
So just come,
Facts,
like
man.
a person, and I have no problems on answering any questions. I just ask that you show some initiative. That is all for me.
Exactly.
Thank
Exactly,
you guys
man.
for
Look,
having me. It was a pleasure
for
speaking
sure,
to you
bro.
both. Unfortunately, I guess we lost Sanch at some point, or at least I did.
Nah, it's all good, man. Like like I said, bro, he's trying to see what Jeezy and Gucci actually gonna do off the camera down in Compound, bro. But I'm sure that he's down there writing notes or something like that, bro. Because yeah, it was a lot of gems dropped on this episode for sure, man. This is kind of a extended episode too, because we usually go like an hour, just like an hour and 10 minutes, man. And
Yeah,
again,
but
it
that's
was
how it's
just
supposed to be, man. When you're having
yeah,
a
bro.
conversation,
Exactly, man. Like, bro, this is family right here, man. Like, I know we said it earlier in the call, man, but man, me and Trev from the sticks, bro. Like, we're from the sticks, and like just to come to the places that we are, man. It's dope to see, bro. Just reconnect, have conversation, and just catch up, man. Even though we're doing this episode and stuff, man, it's still just the bros talking, man. So thanks again, man. It means a lot.
Yep, no problem, man. Appreciate you
All
for
right,
having me.
bro. Already, man. No Budget Podcast. Another episode in the books. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll be back in touch with y'all soon, man.